Good morning. Something a bit different this week. This week we're actually going to do one of my most standard rides, one of my favourite rides. And when we're out on our ride, we're going to be stopping, which is quite a rarity for us. And we're stopping to have one of Spain's greatest institutions. We're going to have a menú del día. It's a set menu meal at a restaurant, which is at a set price. And here you can still get a 4-course meal with wine, bread, and a coffee at the end for under €15. And that's what we're going to do. And I'll be showing you things that I don't often show you. So I don't often show you my bike. This is my old bay again. It's the D10 from 2019, so it's getting a bit old now. But it's still really one of the best bikes I've ever ridden, and I've ridden some super bikes now, haven't I? This still absolutely stacks up against it. And it's got my range extender, which sits in this little bag at the back, along with all my toolkit. And to switch on the system, it's off at the moment. This is the iWalk button, which tells you what's going on with the system. So it's off at the moment. All I need to do is just plug in the range extender. That just pushes in there. I know you won't be able to see very well. That just pushes in there. System's now on. Just turn the little lock ring to make sure it's all safe and sound. There it is. So that's connected. System's on. We're ready to go. What are you doing, buddy? You staying in or coming out? He's been in the wars of late. He's been living in that room for the best part of 3 weeks, I think. Staying in, all right. Good lad. It's absolutely gorgeously cool. I guess it's about 17, 18 degrees, maybe 19. That's our neighbouring town of Moradebra over there. This is about as quiet as I've seen it this time of day. We're just going to head out of town on one of the bigger roads, and after that it's a beautiful, quiet series of country lanes, immaculate roads, no traffic. It's absolutely perfect for cycling out here. Sun in the sky, you know how I feel. Yep, I'm feeling pretty good. Oh, so that's us done. Nasty hill completed. Won't see a main road now for another 40 or so kilometres. So we're now only 8 kilometres from my house, and we're already up on it's a stunningly beautiful ridge. There's a whole line of these ridges, and a few of them have got a road along the top of them. This is the best road, but behind me is the Ebro Valley, and in front, well, I'll show you a bit better in a minute. Those are the Tavisa Mountains. Can't quite make out the town, but it is there if you zoom in. And then in front of us we've got the Greyhound, the name of that mountain. To the left of that is Mont Alt, the high mountain, which isn't the highest. And then further over where the sun is, you've got Yabaria, Col de Jau, and then as you go around heading into towards the Priorat Mountains, this is absolutely my bread and butter. And our next little town we're going to come into is La Serra d'Almos. It's very tiny, but despite being very, very tiny, one of the things that Franco did for the people once he got in, well, one of the things he did, he used to round them up and torture and kill them. But if we don't talk about that aspect of his dictatorship, he did do some good things, and he did ensure that every village, despite its size, had a library, a swimming pool, had access to public transport, but also had a PA system for propaganda, but now it's used to let people know about births and deaths. When the the fresh fish is in the shops, almost any public announcement. So it's actually been turned to good rather than just spouting fascist nonsense from Franco. Anyway, they all have those as well. Yesterday, I was watching the Tour de France. It's actually why I'm doing this ride today, because when I watch the Tour de France, I watch it on a live streaming platform called Cycling Today, and on that, as I've mentioned before, is a chat box, I suppose. It's basically something for the fans of the Tour de France are on this particular platform to while away the interminable hours of a sprint stage by chatting to each other. And yesterday's stage was a sprint stage, and we were chatting away, and quite often the chat turns to food. It's an international group, got people from literally all over the world, and we were chatting about food, and I was saying how it's still possible to get a menu del dia here, and they said you should show us it on the on one of your vids. And I said, oh, okay, could do that. What about the ride? What sort of suggestions have you got for that? And they actually said, we'd like to see you doing one of your standard rides. Completely new tarmac through the town. It wasn't that bad. But out here in Spain, the road starts looking a bit flaky, they'll resurface it. Quite often not just a resurfacing, but a full job. The cooperative obviously is where local farmers band together to collectivise their products, usually grapes around here. So they're just a bigger entity for buying and selling, and they get a better price. So I get quite excited about this little bit, because there in front of us is a field of wheat, and that is pretty rare around here. They can make a lot more money by planting vines, and this one farm plants wheat. And this is another road which regular viewers will know used to be quite rough, but they resurfaced. Just one hairpin into the next. It's 3 or 4 in a row here. It does make it quite difficult to get a good line and not put yourself in danger on the wrong side of the road. Because most of these roads have been in the Tour of Catalonia, where the roads are closed for the pros, very, very difficult to get on the KOM standings when you've only got half a road to play with. Oi, oi. Short but sweet descent. It's nice. It's often in shade like that, so it's quite a relief sometimes when it's actually quite a hot day and you've left it a bit late to come out. And now we're into a horrible climb, worst of the day, 14-16%, something like that. So I'll be popping up the power to mid level, which gives me 135 watts, I think it is. Right, we're up at the next village already. Don't I say already? Bloody knackering that one. Horrible climb. Els Guillemets. And this is their cooperative. coaster, isn't it? Well, that's lovely news. I've just heard that one of my best mates from school is now a granddad. So congrats to you, Mike. It's a baby Harper, £7. That is pronounced Maroc. Anyway, that's where we've come from. Looks flattish, but so far we've only done 32 kilometres, but we've done 655 metres of climbing. Right, well, we've got one more descent, one more big descent, before we head off to the restaurant. So we're just making our way to the restaurant. I wanted it to be something that was really traditional, and I don't mean traditional old, I just mean absolutely normal for out here. And absolutely normal out here really isn't a restaurant, it's a bar restaurant, and they often just look like a single fronted place, but they go back for miles. Our favourite really. It's called El Corazon, and it's a family run place. It just does really excellent food. So I'm meeting Mrs Yako there. I won't be showing you her, I don't think she wants to be in these videos, but you might hear her a bit chattering away in Catalan. She's fluent in Catalan. I've got a bit of Spanish.
Llavors, una taronja
It's quite unusual in that you get extras here as well. So the first course is usually it could just be juice, but today it's juice or a salad, so it'll be a small green salad. But he also brings ham carved straight off the bone, which just stays on the bar, and everyone gets a sort of taster of that as well. And the wine has arrived. Yes, the wine is served in a whiskey bottle because it's just decanted from some enormous great tub that they've got somewhere, but it'll be from a local winery. Cheers, Alan. And the idea of it was that everyone would at least be able to have one proper cooked meal per day at a very reasonable price. The price was always set by government. Now it's starting to slip a bit, and in fact not all restaurants now have to offer a menu del dia, but they did until maybe a year ago, maybe 18 months ago. Loads of it, please. It's olive oil for the salad. That's great, thank you. And there's the olive. Are you taking this process seriously? No, not me. Right, so even the olive oil is local. It's from Miravet. And there'll be red wine vinegar as well, which I'm not so fond of on salads. So, salad, just a bit of greenery, just to get you in the mood. First course, big carb, pasta, chickpeas, something stew of something. I'm sorry, I mean chickpea stew. And then you have the protein course, meat or fish, which used to be just a lump of meat on a plate, but now it's getting much nicer, and looks like a normal meal. So there'll be potatoes and veg on it as well. And then a dessert. The wine can be bottomless. It depends on the mood that they're in. Here it's a bottle each, and then if it looks like you've finished, it might bring a bit more. Maybe that's one of the reasons why we like it. Anyway, I'm going to get stuck in because this is looking lovely. What's it going to be like on the hair? That's it. So this is just a meat stew, really. They're all called estofado around here. Is that a Spanish word or it's estofat in Catalan, isn't it? And estofado in Spanish. But it's just a stew. Usually this first course is really big, but because the second course here is big, they make this one normal sized. It's got, what do they call it? Canelones? Macarones. But it's not macaroni, it's pen, isn't it? And what's in it? Absolutely delicious. It had like a Moroccan hint to it. Turmeric and garlic for certain. Other stuff that's spicy. Remember, this is just a everyday meal, supposedly. Mrs Yako knows absolutely everyone. With the course scene off. We're both struggling a bit now. If you ever finish the bread, they'll bring more bread and more bread and more bread and more bread. So if you like bread, this is a good country to come to. This is a tiny steamed pudding filled with chocolate called a culant. And that is a lemon tart. I'm feeling sick. It was a little chocolate steamed pudding. I can feel my arteries clogging. No, I can hear them. I can hear them clogging. That's how bad it is. What I need is that'll clear them out. It's like medicine. I think it's now time to leave. We're too full for coffee. It is absolutely scorching. We did take a couple of hours doing that. 2.5 hours, I think, wasn't it? 2.5 hour lunch. It's got to be 38 again now, isn't it? Oh, so the ride home could be really, really slow. Well, I hope that's given you a flavour of what's available out here. That was a hefty €15 a head for 4 courses. Yeah, it's cracking food, really well done. Not oh, speed bump, hold on, horrible one. Oh, that's a really bad one, that one. It's like a homemade speed bump. Somebody's just whacked one outside their house. That was 2 bottles of wine, local Spanish wine. Maybe a little bit too much, maybe a bit of overindulgence. I'm probably going to get lost around these little houses now, trying to find an easy way across the main road. These are called the Casas Baratas. They're cheap houses. They were built for the railway workers, because if Moralanova is famous for anything, it's famous for being the end of the electrified railway line. So it goes to, well, it used to go to coal here, and these little single-story buildings were made for the workers. Anyway, Yako's done a bit of culture this week. I've actually stopped, had a sumptuous feast with my lovely wife, and well, next week, well, in some ways a little bit disappointed about next week, and in some ways really excited. So next week was going to be, yet again, my coast to coast. I thought I'd sussed a lift to Bilbao, and I was going to ride back. Actually today, I was going to go today. Unfortunately, my lift has basically let me know that there's no room in the car. So instead, some more friends of ours are off to Andorra, and they're going to give me a lift to Andorra. So next week I'm going to be in the Pyrenees. So I hope you stick around for that. But until then, he said, trying to go no hands so I can do the thanks for watching.